Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome to This is Football. Welcome to another transfer show, ladies and gentlemen. Our second transfer stream of the day after the earlier on stream that we did with, the daily transfer news show with Hussam. Big up to every single one of you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us on yet another stream. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing to This is Football if you're ready to do so. Every single one of you guys right now, stop what you're doing, hit the like button. Subscribe to This is Football if you're yet to do so. I want you all to keep getting involved in the chat. Keep letting me know your opinions, because this is one of the interactive channels out here on YouTube. Want to hear all your opinions, want to get all your opinions, and this is you watching us. I just want you to hit this X button, hit this like button right here. See how easy it is? 186 people watching, only 51 likes. That's some Darwin Nunez shit, and none of you are Uruguayans. So let me introduce today's panelists. First and foremost, the biggest troublemaker in the entirety of the Arsenal fans on YouTube, you get me, creates a lot of trouble. But he's here to tell us about Calafiori to Arsenal. Man like Egal is in the building. How are you doing, Egal, man?
Well, I'm good, bro. How's everything with you? Hope you're doing well. Big up everyone in the chat. And yeah, we'll get into it, man. We'll get into it. It's still very, very early in the transfer window. People need to calm down because July, you know how people get restless when you don't see any signings.
Yeah. Listen, it's the same in my fan base. I know exactly what we're gonna do, so I'm probably gonna talk about it tomorrow, inshallah. But yeah, I'm a bit more.
You got inside scoops.
Listen, 4:30 p.m. UK time. Tomorrow. Yes, sir.
Bro, just make sure your sources never get you to cut your hair again.
No. My sources didn't tell me Bellingham. That was the one where I actually didn't trust my sources. That was a Fabrizio one. Everyone kept tweeting about Bellingham to Liverpool, and then it became Liverpool and City, and then out of nowhere he just went to Real Madrid. So yeah. Anyway, speaking of City, let me introduce Kevin De Bruyne from Wish, my favorite City fan, a second favorite. I'm not gonna lie to his face because LB is my favorite ginger as well. But my second favorite to work with, Kevin De Bruyne from Wish, aka the biggest celebrity, because I've been trying to get him on the channel over the last 2 months, and every day he's busy, he's cooking dinner, or he's out, or someone asked him for a selfie out on the street, and he just kept talking to him for 15 minutes. Man like Nobbins is in the building. How you doing, Nobbins, man?
Doing very well, thank you. I think the way I'm treated on this channel is abhorrent, disrespectful, the opposite of courteous, and to be honest, you should be grateful that I've even bothered to turn up and give you a moment of my time. I think it's disgraceful. And I will be sending you an invoice for this. I do charge by the hour, and quite frankly, no, I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on.
Big up, Nobbins.
That's the good old British humor right there.
Yeah, you played the role perfectly right there. I could have
love to see it.
Yeah, if someone just walked into the stream, they wouldn't have realized your joke.
Nobbins, how you been, man? Long time.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm good. Yeah, I'm vibing. We out here.
How do you find the Euros? Because your players are just getting crucified online.
What City players? I think they've been doing all right, to be fair, haven't they? In general.
Rodri Akanji doing well.
Yeah. Thought Gvardiol did all right. Ake's done good. Less said about the England lads, the better, but I'm sure we all know that.
And the
De Bruyne did good. I think you'll find.
No.
Hello.
I love that my community has to be listen. I love the toxicity of the people.
Hey, that's cheap, that's mates rates as well, by the way.
115 per hour ain't cheap. Even I don't get paid that. Have some shame and decorum. Anyway, joining us on the channel next is of course my guy. You've seen us together on the Football Terrace even during the Euros, and he was here as well on the last show we did like this, talking about Manchester United, because there is a Man United segment today, and we're going to be talking about all the crazy shit happening over there. And like Cam is in the building. How you doing, Cam, man?
What's up, man? I have no idea what Nobbins just said, by the way. I understand.
You don't need to know. You don't need to know.
With, like, boring...
You just need to accept.
Huh?
You don't need to know or understand. You just need to accept. It's fine.
This dude's using fucking colloquial English here. But we're respect. Thanks for having me. 2 Canadians on the show. Respect. What up, Egal? How you doing?
Yeah,
yes. Man. You know I got 2 Canadians on the show. You don't know I got 2 Canadians on the show because the US got grouped and kind of made it
Bro, did you see the takes coming out of America? People saying we can't let Canada get higher than us in a tournament. This is embarrassing. We're the host nation. if
May
they
I
finish
interest you
better
in
than us, you know what they
may
said?
I interest
They
you
said
in
if
a
Canada find
crazier
a way
take,
to,
Egal?
they
I
said
have a
if
crazier
Canada
take
find
I
a
have to show you.
what?
There's nobody like Messi, and I don't think that there ever will be somebody like Messi. It's a generational talent. It's like Maradona, and then Messi has just had that crown. But there's other players, Jude Bellingham, Pulisic's coming up.
She's nuts. That lady said we can't let Canada finish ahead of us. Like it's just embarrassing. Forget about getting knocked out. The fact that Canada finished in a better situation than them is embarrassing. They're weirdos, man.
Yeah, man. The whole Christian Pulisic line was like he is there. Like when you watch them play, it's basically if he doesn't make something happen, nothing happens in that team.
Bro, did you see Bill Simmons lost his shit and he had people talking about Klopp and Pep are going to come and manage USA. That's the only way they're going to win. What the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, stick to basketball.
Hey, Cam said it. He's from North America, so it's not required. It's not called any insult. Anyway, make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing to This Is Football if you're ready to do so. Big up to everyone who supported us with a super chat on the earlier on stream and in the month of June. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you to all of you guys. First topic I want to start with is the Arsenal topic. And Nobbins, don't worry about it. You could talk about any club you want. The Arsenal topic. So as you guys know on this channel, we let the Arsenal rep talk first, but then after that, it's open floor. So there's no red carpets. Oh, Nobbins, let me know your thoughts. Cam, let me know your thoughts. We let Egal speak first. And then after that, it's the Royal Rumble. Egal, Calafiori, you get me, signing for Arsenal Football Club. Talk to the people. What do you think about the signing?
Before I get into the transfer, I just want to say I was watching your Turkish stream, and big up to you because people were for no reason just mentioning Arsenal players when there weren't any Arsenal players on the stream, and you were quick to call it out. And even though I know you have agendas against certain teams, but you keep it real. So big up for that.
Glazing's crazy.
What?
What?
What did he say? Glazing.
So Nobbins, anytime someone compliments someone, it's glazing now.
Sam, I can't believe.
No, because I was frustrated watching, and he called it out. So I was like,
order, bro.
Next, the actual potential signing of Calafiori. Where the hell did this come from? First of all, I seen Chelsea were interested in him. I seen Liverpool were interested in him. I seen Juventus were interested in him. All these people were interested in him, and then it's just out of nowhere. It's like Arsenal are ahead of everybody, and they've gotten this deal close. They've gotten personal terms sorted or something like that. You got Damasio, Fabrizio, all of the Italians just coming together like the Avengers, saying Arsenal have signed their man. I don't know, man. It just sounds too good to be true. You know when things just come out of nowhere and you don't have a David Ornstein tweet yet. I'm just still very skeptical.
It is true, Egal. It is true.
It's true.
I understand that there's a level of truth to it, but I want to know what is happening behind the scenes. Is it that Calafiori is going the other way to Juventus, and that's Juventus' solution to the Calafiori situation? Is Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, who's leaving? Because we do have a lot of players, and we need to also look at getting rid of some of those guys in that position. But we definitely strengthened a major area of weakness last year, which was the left back spot. We conceded a lot of goals because of Zinchenko. We conceded a lot of goals down that left flank. We didn't have a solution at the left flank when it comes to somebody who's left-footed, who can get forward, pass, defend, and contribute in many different areas of the pitch. So he's a massive upgrade.
Egal, let me logically tell you why this is happening. I'll tell you right now, from my side, Liverpool aren't signing him. So push us to the side. The options now becomes PSG, Bayer Leverkusen, Chelsea, and Arsenal. Be objective. Forget the fact that you support Arsenal. On a real, where the fuck else should you go, given those options?
Yeah,
no stupid football.
He's 23 years old. He has his whole career ahead of him. Yeah.
But
Chelsea over Arsenal is a death wish right now. Think about it.
You wouldn't go Chelsea. No chance would you go Chelsea. So, but the thing
Thank
is,
you, Cam.
If you're gonna go, you go Arsenal. And the thing that I think you need to be scared of, that I would be, is Italians don't leave Serie A, like good ones. They just don't.
No, but we have Jorginho on our team.
I know it's a weird, like he's one of the few, but when we think of like Tonali, we know why he ended up leaving now, right? Everybody was very shocked at that transfer. We were all like, where did this come from?
This guy's already left Syria.
And then the gambling scandal happened, right? So wait, where's Calafiori? Where does he play? He's in Bologna.
No, he played in Switzerland before with Basel.
Yeah, but now that he's back, I just feel like now that he's made it and he's something, I'm not. Listen, I would not be surprised. I think you guys are going to get him based on all the rumors, but I would not be surprised if out of nowhere Juve's like, actually, we'll pay the money, and then he's just going to go there. Like
my theory is the only way Juventus back out and they don't even touch him is because their alternative to him is our player KVR. So if they come correct with maybe 25 or 30 for KVR, then they can get the player for the price that they wanted to pay for Calafiori, and we can go get Calafiori for the 40 or however much money it is. And then everyone wins. We now sell our player. We now have, and then we get in a player that's an upgrade.
Is he that?
Egal, I know you watch the NBA. This seems like a three-way trade. I don't know why.
It is, yeah. Basically, Calafiori. But one thing I will say is, everyone here can admit the one position that you felt like no certainty in the Arsenal team was left back.
Wait, is he playing left back? I thought he was a center back.
We're signing him with the intentions of potentially signing him
But
as a left back.
Isn't that what Timber's for?
Sorry?
Yes.
Isn't that what Timber's for?
Right, we don't know what Timber's for. We haven't seen him play too.
No, but I'm confused. Isn't he a center back? Like, when does he play left back?
Yeah, but what you need to realize is Arteta is signing a center back who has the most assists in his team, has 2 goals, and it's shown that he can progress and play as somebody who's on that left back position also. He's done it for his country. And if I'm not mistaken, we just seen a perfect example of Garvardio join Man City for how much millions, and people were thinking he was coming as a center back, but he joined and played immediately as a left back. We have Ben White on our team, who we signed as a center back, who's now out and out one of the best right backs last season. So I back Mikel Arteta, and also majority of the players he signs, not necessarily always signed for the obvious position. Look at Kai Havertz.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I'm not going to argue that one. Those are all valid points because, I'm reading in the chat somebody saying he's played at left back more than center back. So if that's the case, then
he has.
Fair play.
He's played about like 10 more games or 8 more games as a left back in his career than a center back.
What I won't do is pretend to know a lot about the player. I'm not going to be one of those people. Like, I've never really, outside of the Euros, I did not watch him play, and I didn't for the first time in years. I didn't watch Serie A last year.
You want to know what he's like? He's like, I would say he's like Lisandro Martinez in the sense that he can get forward because he has the ball playing ability.
Okay, that's a good comp. I like Lisandro, and you guys wanted him too, so it makes sense. Like that's if that's the type where you've been going after year.
But he's a lot taller. That's the thing. No
disrespect. We learned that height doesn't mean anything if you're got good positioning.
But we're building a basketball team at Arsenal. Just saying.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
The thing is, Arteta plays with 4 center backs anyway.
It makes no sense. Yeah, because Ben White's a center back, right? So
Tomiyasu is basically a center back. Timber's a center back. KVR is a center back
anyway.
So so it makes sense. And if Arsenal gets him, then that's a strong. But is that the number? Is that shouldn't there be other positions that you need to worry about?
I think left back was one of our positions in the starting 11 that's the most dire, one of the more dire positions. Midfield is also up there, and people would say striker, but at this moment in time, I don't think they're going to go and spend money for money's sake to go and just get a striker. They're going to prioritize the areas where they feel like we can improve the most with the least risk. So if we can go and get a left back that can slot in and be squad depth and improve us massively, we can do that. Midfield, we can improve massively. But if we just go and sign any striker, be it Osimhen or Gyökeres, it's going to be a large investment, and there's a large element of risk to that. So maybe prioritize fixing the other areas, because if we had a backup left back that was of quality, we wouldn't have conceded the goals we did against West Ham last year. We wouldn't have conceded some of the silly goals that we did last year. Because if you look, I've actually looked back at every single goal Arsenal conceded last year. At least 7 or 8 of them come from that left flank. And they're very fixable.
So if you've got let's say you've got a back 4 of White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Calafiori, or however I pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Which of those defenders is doing the inverting situation where they go into midfield?
Ben White's capable of doing that.
So the two ahead of the back three becomes Rice and White.
The thing is, what you need to understand is it might not be necessarily the answer for every game, because there's going to be games where we're going to have to be much more attacking because we're facing a lesser down the table team. But say we face Man City, or say we face a team in the Champions League that's a really good team like a Bayern Munich, that's when you pull out all your defensive nouns to get yourself that solid shape. Then when you're attacking, you're a lot more controlled. But against majority of teams in the league, you won't necessarily need to play that back four every single week the same way. And also the midfield might change. Also, the dynamic in the midfield could definitely help. We might not necessarily have to have the same setup. It could be slightly different, or you could be surprised and maybe Calafiori is a lot more attacking than some people think. Because I have seen that side of his game also. He was the top assister in his club in Syria.
Yeah, I just don't know if I like that midfield pairing of Rice and White. That's all I'm thinking. I don't know.
Rice. No,
Rice.
but it wouldn't necessarily just be White, because we are also looking to sign another midfielder. That midfielder could be we could end up signing another 6 instead of getting an 8.
All right. I like the idea of you having Timber left back and then him going alongside Rice, because Rice's biggest weaknesses are receiving under pressure and turning. And apparently, I haven't watched enough of Timber, but apparently that's Timber's bread and butter. So I'd have thought a pairing of Timber and Rice would have been perfect for that. So I'm just a little bit confused why you linked to him. To be honest, I thought Timber was that guy, but I don't know.
No, but what you need to realize is they've already told Zinchenko you can leave. They've told Kieran Tierney you can leave, and if a good offer comes in for Calafiori, you can leave. So they've clearly identified the left back situation as an area of where we can improve in the starting 11.
I can't let you know, but you should be the guy that understands this the most. I know selection is sending this with a lot of like vitriol, but the concept is true. He says Arteta fully trying to emulate his master. Now he has someone who can emulate some of what Guardiola does. He's playing left back with one center back. Think about this, Nobbins.
Selection, that's wrong. We started the back four with center backs, not Pep.
Brother, first of all, we didn't start that. And
one second, we started against you.
10 years ago. And Alex Ferguson did it like 15 years ago. This is not a new thing in football.
No, okay, maybe start is
but the way that they operate, here's the thing. And this is why I'm surprised Nobbins is asking this question. And let me just throw this back to Nobbins, because Nobbins, you've got Ake, Akanji, Gvardiol, Ruben Diaz, John Stones, all in the same squad, and they coexist and they work together. From Arsenal's perspective, surely if they want to go far in competitions and compete on all fronts and do all that, why isn't Timber and Ben White a competition, a headache that they're willing to have? I think that's a very good headache to have.
It was more a question of like thinking about which players can do that role, because it's a very specific skill sets. Like only Stones can do it for City. I think Gvardiol could do it. I've heard that apparently Calafiori can do it, has done it for Bologna. Again, I've been told that Timber does it as well. So I was just thinking about it again in my head. I thought that the best Arsenal back four would have included Timber in it. I just don't, and maybe Calafiori is fine not being like the absolute first choice there, but or maybe Timber's going to be used differently. Just like so, yeah, City do have lots of players in those positions, but there's only some who can do that very specific role. So those certain few play basically all the time, whereas Diaz is a bit more interchangeable. Ake a little bit more interchangeable. If Stones is fit, he plays. That's more what I meant by that. I was just trying to picture.
You're only looking at the starters, I feel like. Think about behind them. Tomiyasu's always injured. Zinchenko finds himself injured all the time. Kieran Tierney's always injured. And Timber's just come back from a long-term injury himself. So you have 4 players who are supposed to be our squad depth, but they've all had major injuries or have injury or are relatively injury prone. So I think Arsenal is more protecting themselves in the case that in a title running once again, if they have an injury, so they're not screwed.
Yeah, as I said, we'll see. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, but if it does happen, it's interesting. I don't claim to have watched Bologna. As I understand it, he's more of a centre back who progresses into midfield. I don't know how many times he's played at left back. I know you mentioned Gvardiol, but Gvardiol for a lot.
Played more left
8
back
times.
This season or his career?
No, in his career, he's played more left back.
No,
Oh.
he played more centre back. He played 8 times left back for Bologna. I'll tell you exactly the thing. He's played 8 times left back for Bologna. He's in the 99th percentile of assists, progressive carries, sorry, and shot creating actions. He's like in the 80th percentile or above of all passing statistics, most of the passing statistics. So obviously he's very good on the ball. And even if you remember the Italy goal against, who the fuck did they score against? Croatia at the end. He was the guy that kind of made the run through the team and then laid it off to Zaccagni to score the goal. So I think
I'm speaking about his whole career. He's played left back 49 times. He's played center back 43 times. So he has
I
played more.
was talking about this season. This season it was 8. I think 8 times he played left back. The rest he played center back. But I could be mistaken. I'm talking about this season. So I think progressively, he's obviously someone who passes the ball really well, Nobbins. So the clear concept is, let's put him left back. And if we've got a Carabao Cup game against Stockport on a Monday night, I can rest Saliba and Gabriel, and I can just go Ben White and Calafiori. Or I can go White and Timber, or I can go Timber and Calafiori as a centre-back partnership. You know? So, like, it's just kind of a mix of all things. Kind of what City does as well. You know, like when Ruben Diaz is going through a tough patch, let's go John Stones. When John Stones is going through a tough patch, let's go Ake, blah, 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 Akanji. And I feel like that's something that Arsenal have lacked, because everyone just guaranteed starters, stamped, all of that stuff. So I think he's very good on the ball, and I think that's what they're aiming at. Defensively, he can make a mistake every now and then.
And
How is he at defending? Sorry, I was just going to ask, how is he at defending wide areas? Because I've not seen enough of him. If you're playing him at left back,
I've seen enough of him like that, to be fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to answer.
He's solid. Like, listen, he ain't Paolo Maldini reincarnated, as some people say in the chat.
Sure, just because again, you brought up the Gvardiol comparison when we signed him. Because he obviously played a lot for left back for Croatia and also Leipzig. So I normally in like a back 5, it was the left sided centre back. So
I can send you something in the private chat if you want to just check.
So I already knew he was good at defending wide areas. So I don't. It's a genuine question. I don't know what he's like defending those areas. I don't even know what formation Bologna do. Is it a back 3 out of possession? I don't know.
Motta does a crazy thing. Motta does like a 2-6-1 type thing where it's like everyone is like in midfield, and you know, Calafiori and the other partner, I fucking forgot his name, were like so high up the pitch, and you know, they're basically driving into midfield. It was like Motta was creating tactics last season. He was innovating a lot. So
yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how he takes that step if he hasn't defended that much out wide. And Egal saying that's what he's going to do at Arsenal. It'll just be interesting to see how.
You know what else is interesting? If I'm not mistaken, he's a naturally left-footed player. Also, Mikel Arteta does like to have players on certain sides of the pitch that are left-footed. So it's like it would just add to that, because we are struggling to find a left-footed midfielder to play the 8.
I don't think he's going to play.
I'm not saying he's going to play the 8, by the way. I'm just saying, in the case that you don't sign a left-footed midfielder, you now have another left-footed left back instead of playing Tomiyasu there or Timber there.
I think those two at the end that you said will be your left back options next season: Tomiyasu and Calafiori.
I think Timber might actually be a jack of all trades and play everywhere.
Yeah, but then you've got Timber and Calafiori who could play everywhere.
I don't think that's going to be the case. I think a kid who just coming off of a big injury, who didn't get a chance to really blood into the Prem, and all of a sudden you're going to be like, let's play 6 different positions. Like, that's not going to happen, dude. I think, like, unless like Arteta wants to see it fail. I understand with Kai the whole sort of experiment of playing him a bit deeper worked out. But like when you watch him play, he's still fairly up top, and like I don't see Timber all of a sudden being a jack of all trades in his first year in the Premier League. I think that's you're basically setting a dude up to fail. And I think even with Calafiori, I think you can get away with this a few times. As like, listen, we've seen. I hate the Pep comparisons. Like, Arteta's not Pep. he's just not. And it's hard to compare like what Guardiola. I had watched him before. Like, he had been doing it more. He is a better defender than Calafiori from what I've seen. And again, it's very small sample size with this other guy. I think using that as your, well, look what happened over there, is a dangerous game to play when you think about what he's going to come up against in the Prem, where players are super direct, where the whole play, like where it's just, we've seen plenty of defenders come to the Prem and not be able to deal with it. And now you're going to put him out on the flanks and have to deal with some of the league's best players out there. Like if you're on the left, you're dealing with Salah, you're dealing with you're dealing with some very good players. And for a team that's challenging, I don't know if like cool, good signing, but I think saying he's coming in to be our number one left back with 8 games experience there is a very big risk.
It's not 8 games. He's played.
By the way, sorry
over
guys, just last
20
guy joining us. He was just running a little bit late, but he's here now. You get me? Chelsea fan, objective one, so no fights today. I like Andrew in the building.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Chez. I was going to leave.
No,
Apologies.
it's not. It's Andrew.
You don't like
Andrew.
apologies for my lateness. I do apologize.
I don't
No,
think
I like Chez. Chez
No
just
worries.
drives me nuts.
Nah, he does it intentionally, but he's
I know he
funny.
does. That's why it drives me nuts. It's like a little brother who knows they're pissing you off. What's up? What's up, Winter Surfer?
All good. All good. All good. Apologies.
Need to worry.
Andrew, talk to
Everyone's
us
got
about
stuff.
your thoughts on Calafiori.
What in terms of him going to Arsenal, or just as a player, or just as a, listen, I got to be honest with you. I never heard of him until the Euros began. I'm not being salty or anything, but I'm not a big Bologna watcher. He looked impressive for the 1.5 games I've seen him play. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't at the top. He's not at the top of my list of any priorities or anything. So I'm not. If he does go to Arsenal, I'm not going to be one going, I didn't get him like that because I've barely seen him. I mean, he might turn out to be very, very good, and in the end, I'll go, damn, we missed out. We should have got him. But I don't know what to make of the player myself. Looks good at 22. Looks okay. Interested to see if Arsenal get him, how they're going to use him, because all I heard this summer is it's okay. We don't need to buy a defender. We've got Julian Timber. So if we see how they use him, we'll be fine. But when it comes to Chelsea, and I'm not going to be that disheartened if we lose him at this moment in time, because, you know, like I said, it's like most of our transfers this summer, they're not top of the list. Like KDH is not top of the list, and this guy's not top of the list either. I mean, Cucurella's doing well at the Euros, as we've seen in the back end of last season, so maybe it's not as top priority as we thought before the summer
I
kicked
thought you
in.
don't like Cucurella, Andrew.
No, I like Cucurella. It's Ben Chilwell I don't like. I don't like Ben Chilwell.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Chilwell I don't like, and I've got 2
By the way,
years.
that's another person that Arsenal want, reportedly.
Oh, what, Chilwell?
Yeah.
I thought he was linked to Man United today.
Yeah, there is a report as well of Chilwell to Arsenal, apparently.
Maybe. Well, they're not going to get him if they get this Calafiori guy.
Whoa! What do you mean linked to Man United? We didn't. No.
There was a report that it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't
don't worry
strong.
about it, Cam. You want Regulon.
Bro, we've got 2 left backs that together don't play. You added a third, and you just have a bunch of broken biscuits on the ground. No chance. It's crazy. Better off putting me out there. At least I can still run a bit. Like what? That would be wild. No way.
Before we move on to the next topic, anyone else want to add in anything on Arsenal? That's a no. So, big up to all of you guys. 500 people are watching us right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys are slapping the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Big up to Selection for the super chat. Big up to everyone who supports the channel. Love to all of you guys. Let's run the likes up. There is no glitch. We're only on 160 likes. Let's get to 200 ASAP. I see the mods doing their thing as well. Big up. Kimmich. Nobbins. Hello, Nobbins. Nice to meet you again. Nice to see you again on this lovely day. I think there's like every day you wake up and Kimmich to City is like reported by some different guy, you know. I don't know what your thoughts on him are regarding him joining your football club.
Good player. Lots of City fans like the idea of us signing him. I wouldn't complain if we got him, obviously, because he's a very good player. But he's not what we need, in my opinion. Not as a midfielder, anyway. And that's what lots of people think they want him for. If we were going to bring him in as a right back, that's fine. But I don't think that would be the idea, like, again, as what's been reported. So to be honest, I don't want him. And that sounds really mean, but I don't want him at City, to be honest. He's not what he's not what I'm looking for in a partner to Rodri. So I hope we don't get him, and I hope that we get a midfielder who I would prefer, to be honest. If we bring him as a midfielder, it's a right back, different story.
You actually don't want Kimmich?
No.
Why, the
That's
wages or the age?
Wages.
I'm not an accountant. I don't care about the money.
So what is it? The age?
No, it's the fact that what we are after is a partner for Rodri / a Gundogan replacement, and Kimmich is not that. And Kimmich, in my opinion, shares very similar weaknesses to Rodri. Rodri's main weaknesses being that he's not the best in terms of he's like the opposite of Declan Rice. Rodri's main weaknesses are he's not the best in terms of defensive transitions. He's not the best at covering distance. He's not the best in terms of winning duels on the counter-attack either. In my opinion, those are weaknesses which Kimmich also shares. So to me, it doesn't make sense to double down on that weakness. Surely, in my opinion, wouldn't it make more sense to sign someone who would cover for that weakness? So that's my argument. That's why I personally don't want Kimmich.
Don't you think he really is very similar to Gundogan? The way they're both like versatile, very good on the ball, leaders, big game players, all of that stuff.
In a way, sure. Like, and certainly on the ball, creatively, etc. He's a fantastic player. But I'll reiterate, it's not really an issue with on ball that I've got. On ball, brilliant, lovely, fantastic. Again, for me, it's more of an off-ball situation. It's more a case of I want a midfield partner to mitigate Rodri's weaknesses, not accentuate it in the team. This is
Can
why
I get who you want? Bruno Guimaraes?
You know who? Well, you should have watched my YouTube video and you would have known that. Yes.
You want to know something? So that means we need Kimmich then.
Arsenal would be perfect. Yeah. Kimmich would be perfect for Arsenal. Yes. If I'm Kimmich, because I think someone asked me. If you were Kimmich, where would you go to, Arsenal or City? And there's only one answer. Of course, you go to Arsenal because it just makes
he's probably the
so
top
much more
of his
sense.
list is probably Barcelona because he wants to go partner up with his countrymen over there in Barcelona. But outside of that, is City really not interested in Kimmich like that, or do you think it's?
Oh no, we apparently are. Apparently we are because there's a new report that these are the views about Nobbins, not Manchester City Football Club.
Nobbins is saying he doesn't want him. That's the difference.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But sometimes people tell them what people tell us what they hear in reports, and they then go up based on.
I'll say this: if City wants him, City.
I was just wondering if it was a City thing or it's just you. But yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. As I say, he would make far more sense to go to Arsenal than City because again, and this is why City wanted Declan Rice because literally what he is would be a perfect partner for Rodri. Like, can you imagine a midfield pairing of Rice and Rodri would be lights out? This is the sort of player that we should be after, in my opinion. Again, this is why I want Bruno Guimaraes, who is synonymous with covering distance in transition and winning duels.
Maybe Pep doesn't want that. Maybe Pep wants the less industrial midfielder,
the technique and the
more technically gifted, because that's what he's strived with.
Because Nobbins, here's the other side of the argument. Kimmich and Bruno Guimaraes on like the keep the ball side of things and the passing side of things are night and day. Like Kimmich is unbelievably clear of Guimaraes when it comes to these things.
Well, for me, I wouldn't be playing if I had the two players. I'd probably be playing Bruno slightly deeper anyway. I wouldn't be wanting him to do those. I mean, he can do them sometimes, but in my team, I wouldn't have him that far advanced. I'd have Foden / De Bruyne ahead of him anyway. For the most games.
Would you push Rodri as an 8 if you had him on the pitch with him?
No. Still have Rodri as like the DM, but in terms of like the two ahead of the back three, it would in my head it would be Rodri and Bruno.
Maybe Rodri's getting bored.
Rodri's getting tired. That's what it is. And it's why I also want Bruno because again he can fill in as a lone 6 if needed. But yeah, that's a sort of mold of player I'm after. Someone like a Bruno Guimaraes, someone like João Neves, someone like Amadou Onana, someone like
consider Onana at City. That's the craziest thing you've ever said, Nobbins.
What? That guy's trash.
Onana from Everton. You have to explain now.
You guys
have got to explain. That's a crazy ass opinion. Very crazy.
Right? No, you have twisted my words. I said someone like. meaning mold/profile, not exact, someone of that profile and skill set. That's why I caveated it by saying like. So be having less of this. The finger is out.
So like
Finger is
Decore
out.
from Palace then.
Nobbins,
Decore
how
from
many
Palace.
teams in the Premier League? No, because
Uh.
Nobbins, one thing you have to listen. You can get cooked for this right here. Listen, Nobbins, how many teams in the Premier League you expect to beat?
What, on like a week-to-week basis? Ideally, all of them.
No, I'm saying, you know what I mean. Like, expect to beat should be a game where we take care of our opponent without having to like struggle and shit like that.
Like 15, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I have no
That's
problem with
fair.
what you're saying. 15
That's
is
fair,
fair. Okay. So 30 games out of 38. Essentially, in ideology, you're going to be facing a low block and a team that's trying to defend against you, and a team basically that's fighting for their life to like get out of there without getting embarrassed.
And
you
being
think-
dangerous on the counter-attack, yes.
And you think the profile of Onana is going to help unlock them when he's pace and power and can't pass the ball to save his life?
First of all, I think you're underselling Onana there. First of all, I think that's harsh.
That's not harsh at all. I said the same thing when Arsenal wanted him.
But
I think he's so overrated.
I agree.
In the second instance, though, I mean, City don't normally have issues with unlocking teams. We scored more goals than anyone in the league, and we scored more goals against the most opponents than any other team in the league. So unlocking a defense isn't usually the problem. The problem last season was the opposite of what you're saying. The problem was against the big sides. How many did we beat? We beat Spurs, didn't beat Chelsea, beat United, but they don't count. Didn't beat Liverpool, didn't beat Arsenal. Those are the teams. So I would actually argue that your point is actually, you've actually sort of proven my point, because
here's the
we
thing,
don't need a player to unlock a
So you
team.
want to sign Onana for 8 games?
I want to address the chat because I see people saying like, "Ooh, stereotypes because he's black, African." We just say pace and power. No, like if you actually watch him play, like I'm sorry, like me and Steph have gotten into this conversation too. Like that first game, you just had to watch him with Mangala with Belgium. That very first game, and people were like, "Oh, it was all Mangala." I was like, I sat there. I literally watched this guy earnestly because everybody was talking about how he's going to get a move and all this, and I watched maybe 2 passes forward, maybe. And I don't like at the end of the day,
it has nothing to do with stereotypes. That's actually who he is.
He does this and all that, but I'm like, I have not seen it. And it's like he doesn't even attempt to do it. And he's not doing it with Belgium, where you do have players you can get the ball forward to. People are like, oh, well, it's Everton. He wasn't doing it with Belgium. They changed the system up. He still didn't do it against France. Like, I don't care. Like, the guy is not meant for a top 6 side, in my opinion.
So let's okay. And I'll let Nobbins decide this. Let's appeal to the chat. Are you talking about more like a hybrid Kante Essien type you want by Rodri that can do all the other work, where Rodri just sits there and does the passing, doesn't have to overexert himself, but can also maybe replace Rodri now and again as the lone 6 to give Rodri rest as well?
Yeah, I mean, ideally they'd be able to progress the ball as well. I'll repeat. I'm not saying I want Amadou Onana, and that's
no. I'm just trying to get the chat off the name Onana. It's just
I'm just
somebody
thinking
needs
someone,
Onana, and it's like
someone again. If I had to name 3 players, he'd be like the third choice of like the players who are just off the top of my head. I want Bruno Guimaraes. He's the one, because he can do every for me. He's a complete midfielder. He can do basically everything.
I agree.
That's what I'm after. Again, I was just speaking about a profile of player rather than this is my dream signing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I get it. It's
you got to think about it from with the perspective of player now is Kovacic. I'm looking for an upgrade on Kovacic essentially.
It's more like you want a Gundogan type, but he doesn't have to crash the box because you've got Foden and De Bruyne there. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And ideally, he can actually give Rodri a rest, which is what Gundogan
so
used to be able to do.
There's just not a lot of players like that, though.
That is true.
Yeah, but that's why when
I'm giving you 3
replacement.
Like, there's not really.
Kimmich is so close to Gundogan, the way they operate and stuff. Like
on ball, I'd argue on ball, not off ball.
Yeah, okay, I accept that. Off ball, Kimmich is not going to work as much as Gundogan, but on ball, like 99% similarity.
That's fine, but again, I don't have a concern with on ball. We score all the goals. We get all the points.
Do you then go towards a Tchouaméni Camavinga type? Or that,
I mean, that would be lovely. I mean, that's unattainable.
That's I'm talking about the profile like that. Is that the profile you?
Yeah, an 8-6 hybrid is what I'm after.
Yeah.
What I'm after is Gundogan, but we can't.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah,
we got rid of him.
You know who would be good? Yusuf.
You sold them, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Yusuf Fofana would be just like that. That's the guy.
Yes,
Cheap,
that's someone who's good on the ball.
cheap, affordable,
100%.
and very young. Not young, like mid-age, 25.
It's 24, 25. It's not that. That's not.
Yeah,
I know that people think that's old now, but that's not.
Yeah, that's middle age for a footballer.
Hey, as a Chelsea fan, that's old to
mean,
you, Andrew.
I know, yeah,
we're kind of
Chelsea, that's time to sell.
midfielder right now.
But-
So
Hey, you know what's funny? Dewsbury Hall is 25. They're like, yes, we signed an old player.
I'm not gonna lie. Somebody in the chat was mentioning Rabiot. I don't see Rabiot ever getting another big move.
Nah,
No, he's
Rabiot-
screwed up.
Yeah.
He had his opportunity to come to United, and Veronica saved us. Like, we were, for whatever reason, like we were trying so hard to get him, and like I'm not gonna out here and pretend that wasn't a thing. Like
Marcellini, you do not want Rabiot.
He's not somebody who's gonna strive in.
You know
no
what
structure.
Rabiot reminds me of? Guys, there's this ice cream that comes like as in the small dots. Does anyone know what it's called? Like the dot ice cream, the small like circular ice cream things.
Oh
You
yeah, I
used
think
to
they're called
get them-
dots, aren't they?
Yeah, dots or something like that. Like they used to be
Bubble.
no, not that. Like
Like
it's
bubble
like
tea?
ice cream, little like spheres.
Yeah,
basically
they're
that
called
are in
dots.
a cup. Yeah, dots. I think they're called. You know, they used to be really the thing like 10 years ago, but they're no longer the thing, and that's the case with Rabiot for me. Like,
Yeah,
Ryan
just because
Rabiot-
Rabiot benches Camavinga too many doesn't mean he's better than them. That's
he
just the
mentions them
man's
because of the
stupid choice.
charm.
Yeah, it's just a stupid choice.
Yeah,
And
Deschamps
who
needs
cares if
some
he's free?
original French people.
Who cares if he's free? He's not good enough.
Yeah, Rabiot benching Chumani and Camavinga, but that's a different conversation.
It's
Yeah,
political.
Dippin' Dots. That's what they're called. Dippin' Dots used to be the shit back in the day, you know, kind of like Rabiot back in the day. Oh, Adrian Rabiot, you know, and everyone used to like, oh, it's unbelievable. Listen, 2024, Rabiot ain't shit.
No, he's not.
With all due
Hey, he
respect,
shows
so,
up. He shows
you know,
up
I'm
in
just saying,
tournament.
we have to move with the times as the time moves on. So, yeah, Rabiot is just not a thing. Yeah, Rabiot is not a thing. But you know who else
Is
shows
Man
up in
City gonna
tournaments?
do
Xherdan
anything else,
Shaqiri. Would you
though?
take him to your football club?
What?
Can Man City do anything?
Yes,
else
no.
right now?
Wait, what?
I just
Sam,
think
you might be lagging. You might need to.
Sorry,
Shaqiri?
you're lagging.
No.
Can City what?
I think I
can
should be
Man
back
City
now.
do anything right now? Like, if I'm a player moving to City, I want provisions in my contract.
I mean,
Like, I'm not, and again, I'm not one of those people that saying you're guilty. I'm just saying the fact that there is this case, it's a real thing, it's out there. The
No,
fact
I don't
that-
think the case is stopping them from doing
I
transfers.
don't think so because we brought in Gavardio, for example, like one of the most expensive, defenders.
When's
very
it supposed to come to fruition? Like, when's the final? Like, this thing's been forever. Like, when's this trial supposed to be?
I don't actually know, to be honest. What isn't it supposed to actually be commencing later this year? So hopefully,
Yeah,
Okay, so
November, I
basically-
think. No?
Anybody
So-
who signs now, there for at least a year. I still would
yeah.
have.
I mean, you could always, if you want to, you could always like include break clauses into a contract to say if X happens, then you can leave, like on a release clause. That
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I
Yeah.
was saying. They need
So
provisions.
I personally don't see that as being a stumbling block. To be honest, I think
Okay.
last summer's probably an indication of that. We
What's the
were going to
issue
get
then?
Paquetá, but
Usually-
sorry, go.
What is it normal procedure with Man City nowadays, where you guys just do your business later in the window? Because I've seen that last year.
Well, again, if you believe like the in the know people, because we are interested in Bruno, he had a £100 million release clause. Allegedly, we don't want to spend £100 million. We want to spend more like £85 million. So that's alleged. So I would like to think there will be some sort of negotiations in the coming weeks. I don't know, obviously. I like to think it's still relatively early in the window. Again, according to like Sam Lee, our main, the main City correspondent, City are looking to do some business this summer.
Not
Yeah,
too much.
but it looks like Bernardo's not leaving. It looks like maybe no one's leaving outside of, like players that don't really count, like Phillips, Gomez, Cancelo, etc. So I imagine we'll bring in addition to Savio, who's already been brought in, probably just one player. And for me, that's got to be this 8-6 hybrid player.
What do you think of Savio, by the way, before we move on? And I know you've got to go as well in about 9 minutes. Tell me your thoughts on Savio. Okay, I haven't spoken about that.
Exciting, yes. I've not watched too much Girona, so I don't claim to be an expert, but I do know what he is as a player. I would expect him to start on the right for the most part for City. I know he's played a lot on the left for Girona, but I do think he will play more so on the right. I think that he is what Pep has described in the past as a long pace player. So that basically means that, and Doku conversely is a short pace player. These are his words. So Doku, for example, is a player who likes to come for the ball and doesn't really make runs off the ball, basically. Whereas Savio wants to stretch the pitch, make runs in behind, that sort of thing. This is like what Pep said before. So it's a profile City haven't had since Leroy Sané. So incredibly exciting. I really like that. I don't think it'll happen like in the majority of games, but I really like the idea of a front three of Doku, Hall, and Savio. I think that'd be very fun. I don't think you'd see it in the biggest games, but I think that if that's a very, very young front three, obviously, then that could be really exciting. City's issues this season, a lot of them have stemmed from having no proper right side, because Kyle Walker's been our main right winger. And hopefully, we've all seen at the Euros, this guy is not it in respect of creativity.
I'm so glad you're so honest about that, because there's still people who die by the Kyle Walker.
And I've said it all season, by the way. I've maintained Walker was really bad last season.
I watched your match reaction after the Aston Villa game. You went in on him.
No, I was an angry boy. I was an angry boy.
What about these Edison reports? Do you believe them?
That's another thing I was going to ask.
Yeah, if that happens, that's game. That's
I hope they keep him, because if they sell him, apparently they're gonna go get Mike Mignon.
We can't get rid of Edison.
I would stay clear of Mike Mignon. He's got too many injuries. His injury record is horrendous for a goalkeeper. It is bad. It is, and I would. If a goalkeeper's got that many injuries, that is a massive red flag to me, because they shouldn't be getting that many injuries. They'll probably go for.
If anyone can afford a goalkeeper getting injured, it's them. They have Ortega, and
but you shouldn't. No, but you should. What I'm saying is, a goalkeeper shouldn't get that many injuries. He shouldn't get injured in his career.
This is the guy that I think they would get.
Yes,
this is the guy.
I don't want to replace it. How old's Edison? Isn't he only like 28?
31. He's 31.
No, he's 31.
Yeah, but did you hear? Apparently, the package they're offering him like tens of million. Like,
I think he's a year younger than Alisson.
Is it me, or has he won every league title with Pep?
He's 30 years old.
For a goalkeeper, that
Nobbins
is young.
Offering him a lot of money.
Yeah, goalkeeper, that's not even prime.
Well, let's City offer him a lot of money then. Like, we need to keep. He's one for me. He's one of the most underrated.
That City are getting offered.
I don't know. I just saw that they
I mean, the thing is, City needs a specific type of keeper.
Cost them 60 million.
Let me interest you in the way Saudi operate. Saudi don't speak to City first. Saudi speak
they don't.
We're gonna offer you this much money per year, and they seduce the player, and then they'll deal with the club later. Now, I think City, and Nobbins, correct me if I'm wrong, from a logical perspective, probably 60 is logical.
Well, I'm of the opinion that he's not replaceable, so I don't care how much money's thrown at him, personally.
Okay.
You don't sell him. You don't sell Edison.
I get that, though, because he's
they are saying
specific type of keeper.
He's the best ball playing keeper in the world.
Keeper in the world, right? So exactly.
So,
no, he's not the best ball playing keeper in the world. I think he's the best ball playing keeper ever.
I like that. That's a very good point.
KJ says he's a midfielder in that, man. That's like he is ridiculous.
Yeah. Is he better than Fabian Barthez though, Sam? That's
right. Shush. Less of that.
Oh my days! Hey, big up Hamza. If you know, you know. Big up Hamza.
The thing is, my man has how many league titles now? He's a Premier League legend.
It's all
okay, Egal, let's not do too much.
No. Based on him having 1, 2, 3, 4,
should be 6.
5, 6 league titles. Are we kidding?
Egal, if that's the case, then you go to Man United teams, and a lot of people are fucking legends.
But he's the goalkeeper for Manchester City in their most dominant era in the Premier League.
Stop. Listen, I don't listen. When you say Premier League legend, you're saying something that's really
big.
Bro,
in 20 years down the line, will Edison be remembered as the goalkeeper in this era?
Okay, but you want to hear something? We also remember Codicini.
Do you know what does remember mean? Nicky Butt. That guy's a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was the really starter week in, week out. Come on, let's not be silly. Also,
will.
Yeah,
got
but when you
Sterling.
say but 1 second, Nobbins. When you say legend, that's
Bro,
like Kevin De
when
Bruyne,
when
Rodri,
Sure.
Haaland.
Well, he's
Bernardo
certainly
Silva,
certainly a
David
Man
Silva.
City legend. Let's put it that way. At least he's
Yeah,
certainly a
yeah.
Man City legend.
bro,
Okay, but
when-
He's a
okay,
great
but
center
no one's
forward.
going to disagree with that. The problem is Egal is saying Premier League legend. That's
One
a
second.
massive thing.
1 second. His career's not over. So obviously you're not going to look at him with nostalgia or anything like that. He's still currently playing. You're going to criticize him for his mistakes.
We're not talking about Ederson. I think we're talking about Barthez, right? That's who we're.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
Ederson. I'm talking about Ederson. Simply put, because he's been the goalkeeper for Man City throughout this
Barthez.
whole era where they got Centurions, they've gone all these things. I'm not sitting here saying he's the best keeper in this era. I'm just simply saying because he's been on one of the best teams and he's won all these trophies and he's been a pivotal.
I think he's easily in the top 10.
He's
in
been
the top 10
a
goalkeepers
pivotal
of all time.
piece. He's
Definitely.
gonna work his way into the legendary status.
Egal,
of
I'll
the
ask
Premier
you a
League.
simple question, please. Is Wes
Yes.
Brown a Premier League legend?
Who?
Exactly. Thank you very
West
much.
Brown, Manchester United.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
that-
yeah.
I was just
No,
thinking
but that's
about this.
different.
Assist
different.
Champions League final 2008.
That's
And
different.
he was the starting right back the year that they three-peated.
Exactly.
And
And,
won a
and
Champions
an
League.
assist in Champions League
But
final.
when people talk about legendary right backs, they talk about Gary Neville. for
But my
Manchester
brother Egal, you're missing my point. Please understand my point. There's a difference between Manchester City legend, Premier League legend. Let me give you an example, okay? I'll give you a quick example right now.
I hear you.
Mo Salah is a Premier League legend. Kevin De Bruyne is a Premier League legend. You know, like when you say Premier League legend, like he has to be like the fucking best in his position for a while, or like game changing, or like unbelievable guy. You know, like I think, you know, when you look at, I'll tell you City Premier League legends in my opinion. Vincent Kompany is a Premier League legend from Manchester City. David Silva is a Premier League legend. Yaya Toure is a Premier League legend.
Nope.
I'd say, there you are. I'd say Erling Haaland has the possibility of being a Premier League legend.
Petr Cech is a Premier League legend, obviously, as a goalkeeper.
Yes.
But but when you look at the actual time that what do you call it? Petr Cech was there. Obviously, he broke all those records. Ederson doesn't have those records as a goalkeeper, but what he does have, he has numerous league titles and he has numerous Golden Gloves.
I think I said it fine.
You know who has numerous golden gloves? You know who has numerous
And
golden
he has
gloves?
way more
Everyone knows
trophies
it.
than some of these other.
You know who beat out
counterparts.
Petr Cech for Golden Glove every year? Pepe Reina. Have you ever known that, Egal? You know, timer. By the way, I know Nobbins is not shameless. If we go by if I ask 100 random Premier League fans in the street, most of them will say Alisson's better than Ederson anyway. Like as a goalkeeper.
Alisson is.
I don't think he's not saying. I think I said it. If we put,
Sam,
I'm
saying what I'm saying is not
list.
crazy.
It's easy in
I'm
the top
simply
10 list.
saying-
of Premier League.
It is
Based
crazy
on-
because Premier League
One
legend is a
second.
big thing.
Just hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm saying is 20 years down the line, when people look back at this era of football, the only goalkeepers that they will mention, one of them is going to be Ederson, because he's been City's goalkeeper for this whole time. Now, understand that I'm not sitting here saying he's the best goalkeeper in this era. I'm not, but he is in the mix as one of the main goalkeepers who are going to be remembered for this era. Pep era will be synonymous for a lot of players, and Ederson will forever be connected to that era, and he will be known as one of the better goalkeepers in this era.
That's fair.
Yeah, so just like coming back to the if he leaves situation, detrimental, to be honest. I'd
Do
be
you
very
think he's a
convinced.
Premier League legend in the making?
Ask me when his Premier League career is over, and then I'll give you a succinct answer.
He has 6 Premier League titles. How many
but-
Golden Gloves? More than some Premier League legends
He
like
has
Petr
less
Cech.
Golden Gloves than Joe Hart.
Yeah, if we sell him, in my opinion, I don't know the keeper out there who replaces him. I think he's that important to us. It's stupid if we sell him. I'm not saying he's good as Neuer, obviously, but Neuer's 38 years old and is still popping off and being brilliant. Ederson's only 30. He's young for a goalkeeper. Like, he could easily have another 4 or 5 years at the absolute highest level, and it's again, like, people over exaggerate in terms of his shot stopping, which is actually objectively quite good.
I don't think you'll sell him.
Well, we better not, otherwise I'll be very
even if they
upset.
offer 60, even if they're 60, I don't think you'll sell him.
Yeah, and we can't replace him. He's literally not replaceable at this moment in time, unless there's a keeper in existence that I'm not aware of.
There's literally only one goalkeeper you can go for. That's Diogo Costa. That's the only goalkeeper you can go for to play the football you want to play. The only one you can go for.
Still
Yeah.
not even though he's not.
I don't know enough about
This is the thing,
Costa.
Nobbins. This is the thing. The reason why all these reports are talking about personal terms is exactly what I told you. Saudi Arabia speak to the player first. You know, they speak to the player first. They're offering him 60 million euros to him, Nobbins, not to Man City, to him, to his pocket. By the way, Saudi has no.
Yeah, and as I say, hopefully we can keep him. Because if we don't again, I don't think we'll win the league next season.
You could tell Nobbins is really upset by this Ederson thing. You could tell he's so upset. Like he's upset at this.
He is. I think he's one of our most underrated and underloved players. Yes, I think
you're gonna have to bump up
That's
that clean sheet bonus to keep him. I tell you what, that's going to.
And that's by City fans as well. By the way, like when I was at the I was at the Etihad for the last game of the season, Ortega got a bigger cheer than Ederson, for example. I don't think he's feeling loved. Yeah, because he did heroics against Spurs, you know, in the game before. Even in that game, Ederson did a good save in that game as well, and he did like a cryptic Instagram tweet, and the basic suggestion was, "I also did some good saves, guys." So I just feel like he's underappreciated. He feels underloved. So I'm hoping it's just a strategy by his agent to get a bigger bumper contract.
Getting love on this show today. I called him a potential Premier League.
Well, exactly, yeah, and I just again, it's not just non-City fans who, in my opinion, underappreciate him. It's City fans as well, and that's upsetting, to be honest, because he's a wonderful footballer.
Okay, I want to speak about United and Chelsea next, Nobbins. I know you have to go. I don't want to like press you to stay or anything, guys. Nobbins,
wait to end, man. Nobbins got to go depressed over Edison. You can't do this.
Nobbins got to work in the morning. He's got to go to sleep.
Yeah, listen, check his channel. Check his channel in the description. Nobbins, thank you so much for joining us, Nobbins. I appreciate it. He's probably going to drop an Ederson video. Try to not cry while recording.
He's going to do great if Henderson leaves. We riot T-shirt.
I'll be crying this Saturday when we get knocked out by Akanji, Switzerland.
So. Nobbins, by the way, this is a smart idea. Did you hear Andrew's idea? He said, "If you sell Ederson, we riot." Can I give you an example?
Yeah, T-shirts. Yeah, T-shirts. Yeah. At least he'd be a player.
You know what it is? I'll say this: when it's Ederson, at least it's acceptable. Like, not
at least it's a player to riot over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, those fans got their way. Conor Gallagher is going to stay.
Big up to you, Nobbins. Thanks so much for
no worries. Lovely speaking, guys. Bye.
Peace out.
Guys, Nobbins is in the chat. Egal Talks Football. Cameron's Twitter as well is in the description. Big up to you guys. Big up to you, Emmanuel. Big up to Emmanuel and Selection for the super chat. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to combine Chelsea and Man United into the same section because I don't want to keep you guys forever, you know. So big up you guys. Let's get to 300 likes as we're live. We're literally 70 likes away. So let's get there. Slap the like button. Subscribe. Mods, do your thing as well. And yeah, I want to talk about Chelsea and Manchester United. We start with Man United. Cam, Zirkzee, De Ligt. Man United letting go of all the workers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's just so much happening at your club. Just unpack it all for us.
So I'm happy there's so much happening because the assumption of people coming in new is that they are going to make changes, and a lot of people were like, well, nothing's going to, I mean, we will see. Again, it has to come to fruition, but everybody's like, oh, nothing's going to change. Glazers are still there. Like, there was that whole brigade of people who were like, Sir Jim out right away because he didn't somehow oust the owners of the club. Like, what was he supposed to do? Like, tell them, hey, like, I won't take the minority share and the opportunity to potentially buy this whole club because I can't get you out. And like, well, he was never going to do that. So for me, seeing them come in and basically get Barada, the Ashford thing was a bully move that Newcastle fought hard against. See, the thing I love about Sir Jim is this man did an interview and basically called them out. He's like, this whole gardening league thing is stupid. If anybody hasn't seen that interview, it was brilliant. He was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. He's like, let's just be adults about this and let the man go. He's like, I never expected this. And yes, Ashford messed up by having that email mistake or whatever, but yeah, he went in and he found all the pieces that he wanted. You know, we built a structure just like they said they were going to do. So the first thing they said they were going to do is we are going to completely change the footballing structure. The second thing they said they were going to do was get rid of the bloat at the club, which is why we're seeing all these employees go. We're seeing all these people lose their benefits or whatever it might be, coming back to the office, all these things on how a proper business should be ran. And unfortunately, the people who were running United before only cared about one side of it, which was the money. Internally, people didn't care that we were rotting from the inside out. That wasn't about football first. People were getting paid. Their bellies were fat. They didn't care that much. So the whole 250 staff sack thing, like, that doesn't bother me because realistically, there's probably a good reason for it. The man is a very successful business owner. It's not like he came in and just sacked 250 useful people. There was probably a lot of people whose jobs had become redundant, where he looked at it and he did a full audit and was like, I'm paying you for, what do you do? We have that guy to do that. Like, so there's no doubt in my mind when you bring in the proper business people, that's what they look at. And they start figuring out, well, we are for some reason not profitable. We have debt that we shouldn't have when we make the most money out of any club. Like, we're still every year in the Forbes list top 3 or whatever, yet we always have debt. So these are all things that I believe he came in and he started looking at all of them. Then 50 million to Carrington, right? And everyone's talking about, oh, when is he going to build a new stadium? I'm sorry, people. You don't just build a new stadium over fucking night. You don't just come in and be like, oh, yeah, that's a stupid ass comment. Sorry. Like, it makes no, like, like, how long did it take Emirates to get built? Like, you have to figure out the next step, the right way to do it. And what he's trying to do is a pretty North American thing, I'm not going to lie, is he's trying to get public funding for the Wembley of the North, he keeps calling it. He's trying to see if he can pull funding, and he keeps saying, like, why don't we have a place where, we hold big games for the North? Why don't we? And he's getting in the ears of politicians and people up north and saying, essentially, I think there should be some extra funding here so I could build an incredible stadium on the same lines as like what Tottenham has for United, but that will also be used for everybody else. So he's already said it. He said it out loud. And because he's done all the other things that he said he was going to do, I have to believe that will happen. I just know it takes time. I'm pretty sure Stamford Bridge needs a new club, needs a new stadium. Like, lots of places need new stadiums. You need land, you need time, you need funds. So I'm not.
Ours is a total different thing with pitch and owners and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
the thing is with us, and I will say this, I believe the stadium should be a top priority, because when you look at the training grounds of like Real Madrid and all these other places like Emirates, like, they're all, players go there and they're like, ooh, top of the line, all this, and then you go to United.
Real Madrid is different, bro.
And it's just like, no, but it's just like, look at this trash. Like, we're living on history that is becoming very old. Like, we're still able to get players to want to come here, and I'll get to the players we're looking at. But for how much longer before this younger generation is like, my academy or my college had better facilities than Old Trafford, right? There's got to be a shift soon. So with all the structure stuff out of the way, now moving on to what we're doing for transfers. If you guys remember United of old, you would hear about one player at a time. How often did you hear about us doing multiple deals at a time? How often did you hear we won't even start negotiations until we sell players that we can't sell? Like, so we know we're trying to sell Greenwood. We know we're trying to sell Sancho. We know there's conversations going on. We know we're not about to get taken in any of these deals because we seem to be pretty staunch. We know with Brathwaite, the first thing we did was when Everton said 70 mil, we go, cool, see you later, right? He's even gone again on record and said he's upset about the Todibo thing. He's like, I would have signed this guy already. He wants to come to United, but we're not allowed to based on some dumb rules. So the fact that he's already come in and been like, well, we're not going to overpay. We already know what Woodward would have done. He'd have been like, ooh, 70 million, well, Everton, we'll give you 55. And then 2 weeks later, you hear United's going to give them 60. And then you would hear, ooh, United's giving them 65. And you're like, I bet. You're like, you're just going to give them the money. Why didn't you just do it at the start of the window? What we've done is say, we're out and we'll find something else, which we did.
Does the previous De Ligt Ten Hag thing worry you? The fact that he worked under him?
Say again?
Does the fact that he worked under him worry you, given the fact that he's supposed to be the head coach now, not the manager?
No.
Like, do you think he got involved in the De Ligt decision?
No. So the thing is, I think I think so. I think based on what I read for his contract, he still has input on signings. Like the one thing that people understand is, like, he didn't lose his veto power. He lost his ultimate veto power. Those are two different things. It's no longer only what I want. It's as a collective, we'll get together. And the reason why I'm not worried about it, because I think it happened really quickly after Dan Ashworth was signed. It was a very quick turnaround. So I think that was a player that he was looking at, and he probably got involved in the negotiations based on how we're seeing the price. And now we're seeing De Ligt saying, I'll take a pay cut. What? Never happened in United's like lifetime. Like, he's saying, I'll take a pay cut. I believe in going there. And I do think Erik ten Hag being there is a big reason why he would do that. If you're De Ligt, the reason you want to go to United is you're like, I was the best under that manager. This manager knows me best. I trust him. Like, I think that is why we would get him, and why you're hearing the rumors real quickly deading PSG. PSG saw the numbers and were like, wait a second, this is a ton. Yeah, so exactly. So does recruitment team. Before, it was just Erik ten Hag. It was just him. He was the recruitment team. So now it's both. And I think with the De Ligt thing is we're seeing a situation where we identified a player who's probably going to be sold. PSG wants to buy him because that's a really good price, but he's saying, I only want to go to United. That's great. Perfect for us. He's a great player to put beside Martinez. I'm not worried about the Erik ten Hag connection. I think if anything, it's a good thing, because when he played with him, he was good. When you put Braithwaite and De Ligt beside each other and you look at their numbers, all of the progressive passing numbers, all the possession numbers are way better for De Ligt than they are Braithwaite. Braithwaite was a player you buy that's good out of possession, not a player that's good in possession. So if we're going to change how we play, I like the De Ligt signing better. When it comes to Xerxes, I don't know enough about him, but I like the fact that we're not going to pay above the odds. It'll be a release clause deal. And the agents came out and said, I'll drop my fees. So again, shows that we're doing good business. And I see like links to Gutierrez, the one left back at Atletico. And I've seen, what was the other one that I've seen that I liked? Oh, Ugarte. So Ugarte is an interesting one. I've got to watch him more in this Copa. He's a bit more of a destroyer, but he's extremely mobile. He's physical. He's an athlete. I don't think he's a crazy ball progressor, but he's not a slouch on the ball. And I think regardless, and this is where people got to
Cam, let me tell you this. I want Ugarte at Liverpool.
Okay.
Don't expect any passing from Ugarte. He's a destroyer as fuck. He's as destroyer as they come. He's there. He's going to tackle the shit out of people, and he's going to do interceptions. Passing is 100% not his forte.
And that's the thing. And I don't think we necessarily need that when you have Manu, who's come into his own. You have Bruno still, who's our line breaker. Manu's our controller. And then you have Ugarte, who, for me, when I've watched, I watched half of the USA game, and he puts some, it makes sense because that dude was going into tackles like he wanted to kill somebody. I have no problem with that type of player because, listen, when I look at my team, and this goes
to be fair, you're right. If Manu's next to him low-key, no need to pass. Let Manu do the pass.
You get it to him. That's it. Break up play, get him the ball. And when you think about De Ligt coming in, is he better than Lindelof? Yes. Is he better than Harry Maguire? Yes. Is he better than what we have? 100%. So you have to start raising your floor. Ugarte, is he better than Scott McTominay? Yes. Is he better than? I don't even know who else I can name in our midfield.
Casemiro on crutches.
So you're bringing in players like Casemiro is basically finished.
I have one question about Ugarte though. Why is it so quick that the PSG thing is not working for him?
So this is the thing.
Question.
It's a good question. I think PSG is one of those teams, man, where it doesn't work out for a lot of players. Like Ramos is trash. They're the striker they just bought there. He's done nothing. I don't know half of their players anymore. I think PSG is one of those teams where they pay a lot of money and they beat Chelsea out for him. But I think if you're a Chelsea fan, you're like, we weren't going to pay that much, right? So I
think though they also, the emergence of Zaire Emery is probably why as well. They want to build the midfield around him. He's French. You know
but there are many people at PSG who are considered failures.
Isn't Vitinha there too, though, at PSG?
Yeah, I take Vitinha at Liverpool tomorrow. Are you mad?
He's great. No, he's awesome.
Vitinha is doing well. My main thing is
that Ruiz guy there?
My main thing is he signed last summer. He was a big money signing.
PSG is like
in
Chelsea,
6 months' time. In 6 months' time, to surplus requirements at a club that just signed you for that kind of money.
Did they have Enrique in place?
I'm a little bit concerned about that.
Luis Enrique probably just realized he doesn't work for him. Like what he just said. What Osama said.
I think they signed him before they appointed Enrique.
Exactly. And if he can't pass, which that's a very important thing in a Luis Enrique system. If you can't pass, like Luis Enrique is going to bench you no matter what qualities you have. So it's probably just them saying, let's cut bait. We've got United here willing to pay. He's happy to go to United because when you look around, when you go from Sporting and then you go to PSG, you're starting to dwindle the places you can go without it being a step backwards. United is still a step forward from PSG. He's got Bruno there. He's got Delo there. I'm sure, he's got some. Sorry, I shouldn't even. Those guys are not Uruguayan, but that's Portuguese. But he's got people, in my opinion, who can tell him why you would want to come to United. And realistically, I think it's a step up. I don't think going from PSG to United is a step back. I love how people will say "Oh, why would you go to this Finnish club?" We still draw players in. We still have a
but PSG is an upgrade currently as things stand until you prove otherwise.
PSG is an upgrade as things stand in the sense of you're always going to play in the Champions League because you're France. That's it. I think you're always going to play.
You're always going to be a league winner as well.
Yeah, but at what point? At what point is that Fugazi? At what point does it not matter when you
I'll be honest with you. I don't think players operate this way. PSG is still an upgrade probably on Man United.
I don't know if it's fit to. Okay, based on we finished 8th and we're in Europa. I will not be a crazy fan here, but fast forward, if United makes Champions League next year, and then all of a sudden you start itching into that Premier League title race, is it still an upgrade? No.
1 second.
No. Yeah.
Simply put, don't confuse upgrade with better team. PSG is the better team. PSG is the better team, but I still do believe Manchester United pay you more. Manchester United give you more.
Manchester pay you more. Are you sure you're talking about the right club, brother?
Yeah, Manchester United do pay on average.
No, not anymore.
I think you're going to find they're going to start paying less.
They might pay less, but in the past, Manchester United, whenever you go to Manchester United, they tend to pay you a lot more than most other clubs.
Right. But under this new regime, they're going to pay less.
And commercial value, being at Manchester United compared to PSG, you are going to get more notoriety.
Well, everyone goes on about, Chelsea got a wage cap. You're going to hear that from United very soon.
You are 100% going to.
Anyway, they should, because
you're going to hit it at more clubs as well, not just United.
At one point, Manchester United was not in the Champions League out of the Premier League teams, and they had 5 out of the top 10 highest wages.
The biggest correlation to whether a team is actually good, where they stand in the world, is actually payroll. When you look at it, the teams with the best payroll, and United were the anomaly. When it comes to an outlier is disgusting. How much we were paying players and how bad we were in comparison to the other top clubs. So for me, again, I think to end my rant about United, I'm happy about everything that's happening as long as it keeps happening and it happens quickly. So if we get the Xerxes deal over the line before the end of July, listen, the window just opened, so
it's not the end of the world, yeah.
But before the end of July, if we get Ugarte in, if we get De Ligt in, if we get all these players in by August, I'm cool with whatever happens next year. That means things are just actually working, because then we will move on to our sales instead of doing what we've done in the past. All I want to see from United this year is operate differently than you did in the past. That is it. That's all I care about.
So the bar is low.
Bro, I've never said it was high. You've never heard me say the bar was high, bro.
The way Cam is speaking, it's low as hell. It's very
just come
but you know what? One thing we can say, no banter. Manchester United are starting to act like a big, like a smart club, and it's kind of concerning.
Listen, I'm not going to come in here and say I expect United to challenge for the Prem next year. I expect us to. You know what I expect next year?
That's what Chelsea fans do.
Win Europa League. That is all I care about. If Eric Ten Hag goes 3 years,
I expect a domestic double and a conference league.
And a conference league and
3 years on the bounce. If we win Europa League, that's 3 trophies on the bounce. I am happy as hell. That's where I'm at. That's my expectations. Win Europa.
That's fair. Egal, Andrew, anything you want to say on United before we wrap up?
No, I said my bit on United already.
No, it'll be interesting to see if they're making more signings off the pitch than on the pitch at the moment. So I don't know whether that will start to concern United fans if they had more and more people to this, because there might be too many cooks in the kitchen scenario sort of thing.
I think we're done.
I hear it.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, I know Vivell, everyone's got Vivell will join a short-term contract and stuff like that.
I think he'll stick.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you don't want to add 2 more because
I think it's done. No, I think I agree with you.
You're like a Game of Thrones situation.
It's got to be done. I think
It's gonna survive.
House
Yeah.
of Dragons.
Yeah. But no, I think they have to get there. If I was a United fan, I wouldn't expect everything done in this summer. That's what people may think might happen. I think they'll address the most needy things first. I mean, you're like defense. You need everyone's talking about that. I think you need another defender, another centre back. Your left back situation is atrocious. I mean, have you filed a missile report on Malacia? So I don't know where that guy is.
Luke Shaw's not bad. Luke Shaw gets a bad rap.
Luke Shaw is in. Luke Shaw's been there 10 years. It'll be 10 years this summer. He's been there 10 years. He's now in line for a testimonial if he wants one.
Hey, listen, Luke Shaw's problem has never been really performances like that. Like at least from a defensive perspective, and shit, he's solid. His problem has literally just been availability.
Always injured.
Yeah, that's the
Always
thing.
Injured. Even now, the whole nation's resting on him. He's not played since February, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, big up Trippier. Just thinking it out for
Oh,
as well.
man.
Listen, you're going out anyway. So listen, big up to you guys. Make sure you guys are slapping the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Let's get to 300
What's on the agenda
likes.
for Chelsea?
Yes,
England, Netherlands semi-final, Sam. You heard me say it right now. England, Netherlands semi-final. You heard me say it right now. That's what's happening.
I think one of
England's going to the final.
Yeah.
No, I think one of those two lose. Actually, not no. I don't know.
England's
I think
going to
one
the
of
final.
Turkey or Switzerland will win.
It's just who
I
do they
saw the
play?
Netherlands play well. Netherlands actually played well. Yeah.
If England go to the final and they play Germany, Germany's going to win.
One of Turkey and Switzerland is winning this Friday. This Saturday, sorry. Not both are losing. I just don't see a world in which both lose. One is going to do the
it's
up.
probably Turkey.
Hey, I wouldn't mind that. Big up Turkey. I'm supporting Turkey and Spain. That's my. If I get a Spain-Turkey final, I'm dunking on everyone. Anyway, big up to all of you guys. Make sure you guys are slapping the like button on your way out. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Let's get 300 likes before you guys leave us. Big up to Selection and Emmanuel for the super chats. Big up every single super chat. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to be back at 4:30 p.m. UK time, inshallah, tomorrow to talk about the Liverpool side of things because I know stuff. And tomorrow at 4:30 we will be talking. There's one thing that's fucking mental that none of you will believe me. Stick around.
You're buying the Lukaku off us.
No. It's even
Oh,
crazier
okay.
than that. It's even crazier
What?
than that, I promise you. I promise you it's crazier.
Crazier?
Yes,
Crazier?
sir. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing.
He's good at
Egal
segues.
Egal Talks Football is in the description. Cam's Twitter is in the description. Andrew's nothing in the description. I'm going to add something in the description for Andrew. So make sure you guys go support him.
You're re-signing
And-
Jordan Henderson. Is that what's happening?
No.
Oh, okay.
And Nobbins' channel is in the description. Make sure you guys go subscribe to all of these guys. We're 10 subscribers as well away from 31.6k. So let's get there. Love you all. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, inshallah.
Peace.
Peace.